As for the news at 10, a jury in Ada County will decide whether Bryan Kohberger killed 4 University of Idaho students nearly 2 years ago. Today, court documents show the Chief Justice of the Idaho Supreme Court signed off on the decision to move the trial. Let's bring in our Abby Davis now. Abby, you've been covering this for us all day. What's the latest?
Morgan, this ruling dropped just days after a judge in Latah County granted Kohberger's wish to change courthouses. The big surprise is Judge John Judge will no longer be in charge of the case.
I think it was very predictable that this case would be moved to Ada County.
The man accused of stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death in the fall of 2022 will learn his fate in this courthouse. Court documents filed Thursday made it official. Former Idaho Attorney General Dave Leroy says Ada County will have an easier time finding a fair and impartial jury for Bryan Kohberger than Latah County, where the murders happened.
Everybody in Moscow was initially very concerned about their own public safety. They may have tended to either on the surface or subliminally made decisions that would be hard to set aside.
Ada County Judge Stephen HIPPLER will take over the case from Latah County Judge John Judge.
The fact that this case is so complicated and there have been so many rulings already by the first district judge is unusual. So to change far away, halfway through a long period, and get an entirely new judge that hasn't made any of those rulings, that's unusual.
An Ada County courthouse spokesperson says they can't comment on the decision to move the trial, but said in a statement, "We have been through significant trials in the past and are confident that we can do so again." Judge HIPPLER told me something similar a couple of months ago during an interview about how the courthouse doesn't have enough space to keep up with all the growth in the area.
It's not a matter of whether we can, it's a matter of whether we can or we will, and we will, and just as we did with the Daybell and the Velo trials. But it's going to cause further cuts in the services we can provide for those Ada County cases here.
Judge Stephen HIPPLER on the left is the new judge for the Bryan Christopher Kohberger case, the capital murder case. The case has already been decided by Judge John Judge that is going to move to Ada County, and he will no longer be the judge. The new judge is Judge Stephen HIPPLER. We all know the reason for the change of venue. It's not only because the defense believe that they won't get a fair trial at Latah County, but it's partly because of the survey that was conducted. The survey proved that the people who took part in the survey were very determined about Bryan Christopher Kohberger's guilt. They already believed he was guilty, and they already decided what they were going to do if the verdict came out that Christopher Kohberger was guilty. They said they were going to burn down the courthouse. So obviously it has to be changed for safety's sake, for the defendant's sake, Bryan Christopher Kohberger, for the family's sake, for the community's sake. So this is something they brought upon themselves. And I believe the people who were answering these questions in the survey know that there are others involved in this case. And I believe they just want to pin it on Bryan Christopher Kohberger and move on. So they would rather that the court case be tried in Latah County so that they could have got their way and their decision. I think justice is coming closer. This case has just gone backwards instead of going forward, instead of moving forward. And I think that Ada County is a much larger county. They've had famous cases like the Chad Daybell case and other cases, so they would know definitely how to handle the press, the media, social media, the safety of the people in the court, extra police for the court case. They will definitely make it. I just hope that the correct justice is served in Ada County.
Questions right now, other than the obvious of, how do they know this is the guy? I'll start with you, Cece. What's your big question right now?
Did they have DNA? I think it looks